Today they are the elite of high school lacrosse. Tomorrow begins the quest to be the best in the college game. The nation's top 44 players show off their stuff in the 8th annual Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Game. Welcome to the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Game. The North All-Americans versus the South All-Americans. Hi, everybody. Scott Garceau and Mark Dixon at Johnny Unitas Stadium on the Towson University campus. Mark, they're all All-Americans, but we've got some special impact players in this game.
Yeah, we really do. When you take a look at the North, look at Zed Williams out of Silver Creek, New York. He has 444 career goals, broke Casey Powell's New York State scoring record. That's pretty impressive. He heads to the University of Virginia. He's a special one. Joining him, Jordan Evans. He's headed to Syracuse University. 81 goals, 99 assists this season. And it's been rumored, Scott, as a freshman, Jordan Evans will wear the fabled number 22 for the Syracuse Orange.
Wow. On the south side, one of their impact players, a former underclassman MVP.
Well, Matt Rambo out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has been the #1 recruit for a couple of years in this class, and he remains, according to Inside Lacrosse. He headlines a Maryland Terrapin recruiting class that has 6 Under Armour All-Americans. And when you think about the Johns Hopkins attack the last couple of years, 2 things people say are missing: size and a left-handed player. That's where Wilkins comes in. He's out of Lone Tree, Colorado, 6'2", 175. He will give a lot of scoring punch to that Blue Jay offense in 2014. We get to see his skills on display here this evening.
Booker Corrigan is part of our broadcast team here tonight. He's with a couple of Under Armour All-Americans. Booker?
Thanks, Scott. Joined here by Tim Rotans and Colin Heacock. Tim, you had 400 career points for Shoreham Wading River, but you played attack, midfield, and long stick midi. Talk about what you learned in that experience in high school.
Playing defense, I learned how to dodge a pole, you know, because as playing defense, you really learn what a defenseman likes to do and what they're looking for. So on the other end, I know what my defense is looking for. And as a midfielder, I learned how to, how to get right and how defense really works as a team. So I know what I'm looking for as a feeder.
And Colin, you're headed to University of Maryland next year. Talk about being a multi-sport athlete through high school and the different attributes you learned and are going to use for the next level.
Playing basketball in the winter keeps me in shape, you know. It helps me with my footwork, you know, and then lacrosse and basketball, they're so similar. And so playing defense and basketball can carry on to the lacrosse field. And then improves my riding game and whatnot, so it really helps me.
Back to you, Scott. Thanks so much.
The nation's best 44 are ready to go. Back with the Faceoff next. ESPNU's coverage of the 2013 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Game is brought to you by Under Armour. Expedia. Expedia helps 30 million travelers a month find what they're looking for, one traveler at a time. And Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Well, there you see the series. 8th meeting here tonight. North leads 4-3, and Mark, anything like the last couple of years, it's going down to late 4th quarter. The last 2 games have been decided by a total of 3 goals.
This is really a celebration, a culmination of outstanding high school lacrosse careers, as you get a great look at the sweet swag provided by Under Armour. But make no mistake about it, there's a lot of pride in this game, a lot of north-south, and guys playing with future opponents at the collegiate level, but more importantly, some future teammates.
North in the dark jerseys, South in the bright, we call that yellow, Mark?
Oh, it's yellow, all right.
For that?
Neon.
Neon.
One more to go. We saw Zach Miller taking the face-off there for the North and a quick shot, but that's a young man headed to the Denver University, and that'll be good news for the Pioneer faithful as Chase Carrero graduates, so Miller can take some of those face-offs.
Danny Fowler in goal for the North, #1 out of Chaminade. They got a full roster of players in this game, don't they, Mark?
And they'll recognize the name Fowler. He is the younger brother of most outstanding player from the NCAA tournament, Duke University national champions Brendan Fowler. Such an incredible job at the faceoff for John Danowski's Blue Devils.
22 players on each side, the 44 All-Americans, and both coaches will make sure everybody gets plenty of playing time in this one. They're all top players. That shot wide of the mark. Nick Baza with the shot there. He's out of Davidson, Maryland, played his high school lacrosse at Calverton. Eisler with it out on the wing, back up on top. Little feeling out here. They had a couple of workouts on Friday. Some of the coaches said just did a little walkthrough in the afternoon heat. It's been over 90 degrees here in the Baltimore area the last couple of days.
Sweltering.
Yeah, young legs, though, shouldn't be a problem for these guys. Pass on the crease. Eisler unable to handle it.
Push call against the South. North will get on offense. We saw Eisler out there. He's headed to Johns Hopkins University. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Jazowskis brings it in for the North. No score, just underway. We're at Johnny Unitas Stadium here on the campus of Towson University. The 8th annual Under Armour All-America game. Well, when's the last time most of these guys played? Has it been 2-3 weeks?
The Maryland guys, MIAA, they've been done since the middle of May, but the New York guys at public high schools just wrapped up maybe two and a half weeks ago.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's a varying, it's a difference of schedule length.
May have spent senior week at the beach, shut it down for a little bit, but
sure,
go back up after it here. Big honor to be an Under Armour All-American, and you'd look at all the Under Armour All-Americans. I think Duke started 6 or 7 in the championship game this year. Littered all over the Final Four.
Well, it's cachet these days. It's much like being a McDonald's All-American in basketball. You've got the illustrious designation of being an Under Armour lacrosse All-American. Here we got a good look at Matt Rambo out of LaSalle College in Pennsylvania. We highlighted him in the open. He has been a man with a target on his back the last couple of years. He's been inside lacrosse's class of 2013, #1 recruit throughout his high school career. We'll see. That issue's coming out shortly. We'll see if Rambo remains #1 for the class of 2017 on the collegiate level.
It's a nice speed from the midfield there as the North gets it in. 11:45 to play in the first quarter. No score. A little feeling out process here in the early going. And there's a turnover, and here comes the South flying upfield.
Yeah, not.
Back it up a little bit. Up on top, penalty marker down. And a shot and a goal. So the South strikes first. Left-hander in the back of the net. Matt Rambo, you talked about him in the open, Mark.
Little split dodge, stays left to left, draws a flag, and then sticks it. Look at the accuracy of Rambo on the run to the stick side high. And a little polish my shoes, teammate. Rambo, when you talk about the University of Maryland this year, Scott, they went from being the #1 team in the country in the middle of April to falling down in a seeded position against Cornell and bounced from the NCAA's first round. The weakness offensively for Maryland, people kind of pinpointed the attack. Owen Bly is the only one that graduates from there. But Rambo joins Connor Cannizzaro. This guy right here, Colin Heacock. It's a heavy infusion of freshman attackmen coming in to College Park next season.
And Rambo scored the goal, a 4-time first-team All-State player in Pennsylvania. Not 1 or 2, 4 times.
Well, you talk about the lack of scoring punch from the attack of the Terrapins. What about the midfielders that they lose? They lose John Haas, first-team All-American, Jake Bernhardt. They lose Landon Carr and Jesse Bernhardt, a first-team All-American long stick midi. And Landon Carr was our #1 short stick D-midi. So some midfielders, some of these attackmen might play some midfield.
In on goal.
What a save.
Dan Morris comes up big. He's out of Dallas Jesuit. So Texas represented here in the Under Armour All-American game, and he'll be a Maryland Terrapin.
And when you look at Maryland's goalie situation, Nico Amato's entering his senior season. Morris could be the guy once Nico Amato graduates.
Morris, 4.38 goals against, 105 saves this past season. One of many that played in the Under Armour Showcase game, so he's been here to Towson in the past. 1-0, first quarter, 10 minutes to play. South on top, North with possession. North leads the all-time series here, 4-3. Here comes the double. And another save. So Dan Morris on his game early on. He's had a couple of real nice saves, Mark.
Not a bad shot from Connor Cannizzaro. They'll be teammates at the University of Maryland. Right now, Morris 1, Cannizzaro nothing. He'll have that heading onto the practice field. Well, the game is still young, but Morris playing very well so far for the South.
North with the clear. Tommy Zenker brings it in. Now the pole on goal. Can't find it. There it is, right in the crease.
Morris making an early case for MVP. We've seen Bobby Wardwell, who's now at Syracuse, take MVP honors.
Well, you're not giving the MVP award 6 minutes into the game,
I'm saying he's the front runner.
An early vote.
Maybe this guy too, Rambo. And look at Fowler.
Through some heavy traffic, but Fowler shuts the door.
Great save by Danny Fowler.
Ground ball battle. And the South wins it. Charging to the goal. Shot wide to the near side.
Kind of expected a little sloppy play to start off. South won.
Shane Simpson there.
Morris has made some really nice saves for the South.
That's Heacock. Up on top. Look out, here comes the triple team.
Get a stick check. All-Star game, I don't think they'll be checking the crosses.
I don't think so. Courier gives it up. This is Nick Baza. Baza 6'2", 195. Left-hander on goal and a save.
Fowler, a lefty. He's made several nice saves. You look at Duke's goalie situation, Justin Turry, the starter and national champion. He'll be a junior for Coach John Danowski. But it's typically an open goalie competition every fall in Durham, North Carolina.
There you see the saves already.
Both are playing great.
Yeah, we're only halfway through the first quarter. Both goalies with 4.
All-star games like this, Scott, defense sold separately. The goalies are bailing their teams out with some several nice saves.
Whoops. A little sloppy there, but North able to run it down. JT Forkin.
South is almost in a zone. They're playing back so far and allowing the North to dodge and not really sliding a whole lot.
Forkin, good pass out in front, the shot and the score. So Forkin gets it out front. Tim Rotan's with the finish. Future Maryland Terp.
Nice work inside. There's Rotan's. He's an attackman. You talk about the attackman coming back for the Maryland Terrapins. Jake Carlson, Kevin Forster, Billy Gribben. But who's going to be that ball carrier? Who's going to be the initiator? Will it be a guy like Tim Rotan's? Will it be Cannizzaro? Will it be Matt Rambo? The only midfielder with extensive experience, the All-American Mike Chanenchuk. So some of these attackmen, again, for Coach John Tillman and the Terps, could be playing some midfield.
We continue to see the Under Armour All-Americans get bigger, stronger, faster, right? That's just the nature of all sports, Mark. But we're looking at defensemen, 6'5", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Even some of the middies, 200-pounders who can run, fly up and down the field.
It's interesting. You're seeing at the youth level some kids electing not to continue their football careers and focus more on lacrosse. And it used to be the last couple of seasons that kind of happens in the high school. They make the decision to go to to play Division I lacrosse as opposed to Division I AA football. There's a nice shot right there.
Beautiful shot from Dylan Maltz. Saw the quickness and the quick trigger on that shot.
Younger brother of Derek Maltz, current Syracuse attackman. Maltz out of Ashburn, Virginia. Look at just the speed. Defenseman has his stick behind him. Got to get top side there. Maltz makes him pay, gets leverage, steps away from the pressure, and delivers a bullet. When you look at the returning attackman, Scott, for Syracuse, Kevin Rice, Billy Ward, you've got Dylan Donahue, and Nicky Galasso returns after sitting out a year ago for the national runners-up. So Maltz and Jordan Evans, who we haven't called his number yet in this game, two of 6 Under Armour All-Americans in this game for Syracuse, tied with Maryland for the most in the 2013 game.
Zach Currier and Stephen Kelly should take most of the faceoffs for the South. Shot backed up. South maintains possession. 6:04 to play first quarter. Scott Garceau and Mark Dixon with you. We're at Johnny Unitas Stadium, home of the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game.
Just to finish the thought on the football players, Scott, 6'2", 215 might be too short, believe it or not, or too slow to be a tight end or a wide receiver, but perfect size for a lacrosse midfielder. And now they're becoming attackmen.
Yeah, Zach Currier with that shot on goal, another save. South on top, 2-1. North with possession, trying to tie it up here. A little over 5:20 to play here in the first quarter. Shot wide of the mark. Shane Simpson, 6'2", 190-pounder. He's a Canadian. Played at the Salisbury School, and he's going to be a Tar Heel headed to North Carolina.
Carolina's got 5 players. Nice save, Morris. Hold his pipe well.
Pinch that pipe. Good recovery by the defense there.
There's 2 teams being coached. The South coached by Josh Sims, former All-American at Princeton University. The North is being headed up by Jeff Reynolds, former Maryland Terp, current Chesapeake Bayhawk.
And down low for the score, and we're tied at 2.
Zach Miller puts on the brakes.
Get used to it, right, Mark?
Headed to Denver for Coach Bill Tierney. Played at the Hill Academy for Coach Brody Merrill up in Canada. You look at Denver and what they return at the midfield. Wesley Berg, Jeremy Noble. You have Eric Adamson, who might slip to attack. Sean Cannizzaro. You lose Cam Flint, Eric Law, Chase Carrero. Miller could fit in at the midfield or the attack for the Denver Pioneers next season.
Stephen Kelly wins the faceoff for the South. Runs away from the defense. Kelly with some room, local product out of Calvert Hall. Headed to North Carolina. Nice play there. Yanni Fowler jumped into the passing lane and created a turnover.
Nice job by Fowler. Kelly, much more than a Fogo as he heads down to Chapel Hill. 24 goals, 21 assists in his senior season for Coach Brian Kelly and the Calvert Hall Cardinals.
A heck of a football player, too. A good running back, played defensive back for Calvert Hall.
That'll be a theme throughout the night, Scott, as we identify these players, talk about their backgrounds. Football, soccer, basketball, wrestling.
Water polo, golf. No, I was looking at the bios, and these guys are successful in multiple sports.
Yeah. No question.
You'd find the same in the girls' game that was played earlier tonight. Good backside pass, but the defense recovers. How'd you like Forkins' underhander?
That was nice. How about Mac Pons, injured for the South? Says he enjoys ceramics.
Ceramics? All right. Loud off the pipe, you heard that shot. And the South hustles back.
Been impressed with the goaltending so far. Both Morris and Fowler have made some really nice saves. The North been more impressed with their ball movement, finding a lot of shots wide open on the doorstep. Game is still young, though.
Good look and a shot to score. Well set up, nice pass, and Kieran Eisler with the finish. He's from Henderson, Nevada, from Coronado High School. Another one of those multi-sport stars, a two-time captain on the football team.
Had a chance to catch up with Dave Petramala yesterday for Johns Hopkins, and he said, keep an eye on Eisler. He's a nice player, very versatile, very quick, can play midfield, can play attack. When you talk about the Johns Hopkins midfield, they graduate John Radigan, John Greeley, Lee Coppersmith, return Rob Guida and Rex Sanders and Ryan Brown. This is a team at Johns Hopkins, Scott, missed the NCAA tournament for the first time in 41 years. So you know that they're hungry, and Eisler is a player who's going to have a chance to play immediately at Homewood.
Let's go down to the sidelines. Booker Corrigan joins us.
Alongside Matt Rambo, scored the first goal of the game. Matt, you were the MVP of the underclass tournament last year. Talk about this Under Armour experience for you and how it's helped you become the player you are.
Under Armour does so much for me. I just thank them for all the gear and stuff they gave me. But I don't know. You're playing against the best players in the country, so it's awesome. You're just getting better and better playing against everyone. That's good.
Let's go back to Scott up in the booth.
All right, Booker. Danny Fowler with another nice save.
Look at the strength and the toughness at the midfield. Zach Courier swimming his way up the turf field at Johnny Unitas Stadium.
South on top, 3-2. They've got possession, just over 2 minutes to play for, a little neck collar there. That draws a penalty flag.
Sky whammy.
South maintains possession, and now we'll have the penalty.
We're going to have a hold against the North.
16, hold. 30 seconds.
Chris Keating.
Little necktie there.
He's trying to make a play. Got hung up. Keating is headed to Yale University, Scott. Talk about the Bulldogs. Just an eyelash away from the national semifinals. Lost to Syracuse late in the game. And Keating will be a welcome sight up in New Haven as they graduate Mike McCormack and Peter Johnson, two all-Ivy performers that have seemingly been playing for Coach Andy Shea forever. Keating gives the Yale University lacrosse team a much-needed boost at defense.
South on the extra man, and keep it in play, but the North controls. Look out on the break. They short-handed. Rotans with the goal, and the North turns a penalty into a score.
I know it's an all-star game, but that one still hurts. Whenever you have the extra man advantage, you hate to have this happen to you. Quick restart, Rotans gets under the defense. Those are the new rules in 2013. Quick restart leads to quick offense, and Rotans with his second 64 goals, 77 assists this year for his dad, Tom Rotans at Shoreham Wading River High School.
Well, you're going to hear some sick numbers as we run down these All-Americans.
It's like video game numbers.
Yeah. Tied at 3, a minute 20 to play, and there's a nice save. Danny Fowler, the left-hander, stick side.
Shot came from Sean Coleman.
Back the other way. Not a lot of defensive help that time as Dan Moore says, where are my guys?
Zach Miller again, backside. This is created off of the face-off. A turnover, nice pickup by the long stick midi. That's Matt Ryan out of Phillips Exeter. He's headed to Harvard University, and he finds Zach Miller underneath. Miller is a versatile player. He can play midfield, he can play attack. And that's good because he's headed to Denver, where Coach Matt Brown is one of the most innovative minds in all of college lacrosse offensively, and he really maximizes the talent of all the players.
So Rotans with 2, Miller with 2 for the North. Here comes the South. And another save for Fowler. Pretty impressive first quarter here. Final minute for Danny Fowler and Dan Morris, who's had some nice saves on the other end. North trying to add to their 1-goal lead, double team.
It's a nice ground ball by Danny Sweeney. He's one of those rough riders, Scott.
Got to play some D. Usually all-star games, all you're thinking about is O, right? Look out behind you. And a shot to score. He's stuck with it. And Zach Currier bangs in the left-hander from Peterborough, Ontario. Played at Culver Academy. And you know one thing, the Canadian guys usually can shoot it, Mark.
Yeah, Culver out there in the Midwest. A heck of a high school program. Look at him just come back left to right, back to his left. Look at the placement and the velocity. Currier headed to Princeton University. Princeton was 9-6 this past season. Lost in the Ivy League Tournament Championship game. They returned Kip Orban, Jake Ficcaro, and the National Midfielder of the Year, Tommy Schreiber.
Right back on him. Fowler going to take a run.
Look out.
Shot sails high as the quarter runs out. Plenty of action in quarter number one. Some real nice saves from Morris and Fowler, but 8 goals on the board. We're tied at 4 after 1 in the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game. Stats after 1, Mark Dixon.
A lot of goalies. Goalies have played great. 8 saves for Fowler, 7 for Morris. But look at the domination by Stephen Kelly and company over on the South, winning a lot of possessions for their ball club. Here we get a good look at Morris. Had a chance to catch up with Maryland coach John Tillman yesterday. Said he's excited to have Morris as Kelly wins another face-off.
Stephen Kelly.
Kelly tried to do a little
trail
too much.
check, yeah.
A little too much.
Yeah, got him from behind that time.
We know you're not a Fogo, but press the offense a little bit, but give that thing up. You're playing as he's going to North Carolina, Scott. A couple years ago, everybody was like, everyone's an attackman down in Chapel Hill. You look at their projected 2014 roster, 20 midfielders, 20 players listed as midfielders, only 3 attackmen.
Wow. Stephen Kelly was the youngest player on the U.S. under-19 team. Left-hand bouncer wide of the mark. Let's go down to Booker Corrigan.
Joined by Danny Sweeney playing defense tonight for the South team. Danny, how hard is it to come together as a defensive unit in an all-star event like this?
It's definitely hard. I know communication is not as great as it should be, and we've all never played together. But after 2 practices, you kind of get the feel of it, so it's not bad.
And Under Armour treats you guys pretty nicely, huh?
Yeah, they gave us a lot of stuff. Some cool gear.
Fantastic. Back to you, Scott.
And Danny Sweeney, one of those
Dinosaurs.
rather large, 6'4", 205,
yeah,
right?
He's a beast. Went to McDonough.
Now, he played basketball at 6'4", you'd expect that.
Why not?
And also water polo
Hey.
at McDonough. Multi-talented.
You got a pool, got to get in. He's headed to Villanova, Scott.
We could use a pool tonight. We're up on the roof here at Towson University, and as we said, today was, low to mid-90s and very humid in the area, and it's about 120 up on the rooftop here, isn't it? But the sun at least has gone down.
I was talking to some of the players before the game. They're like, man, we've played in California and Nevada, and we're used to heat, but not this, what do you call this stuff, humidity?
There's a shot and a score, tough angle. Turned the corner, and a shot and a score. So the North, that's Ryan Lukovic.
Lukovic out of Chaminade, one of the Chaminade 4. 36 goals, 33 assists this season. Virginia 7-8, a losing record. First time since 2006 the Cavaliers did not make the NCAA tournament. Lukovic joins an attack that loses Matt White and Nick O'Reilly down in Charlottesville, but gets back Mark Cockerton, James Pennell, Owen Van Arsdale. So I think Lukovic is going to have an opportunity to play right away for Coach Dom Starsha.
And the North gets a rare face-off win this time.
We're talking about Booker's interview with Danny Sweeney. Sweeney going to Villanova. He's a long stick midfielder, and Villanova's arguably their best player is a long stick midfielder, John Lacascio. So we'll see if that allows Coach Mike Corrado to put Lacascio down at close defense.
Pole to the goal with a shot and a score. Austin Kafani, who's headed to North Carolina. That's nothing new for him, Mark. He scored 14 goals, had 15 assists, and 140 ground balls.
Terrific athlete. Look, this is an offensive midfielder dodge. He sets his man up, stutter steps, beats him down the middle alley, and has the presence of mind and the composure to see the slide and just put a nice high bouncer. That was an offensive midfielder move, Scott.
Well, that's why he had 15 goals this year, 14 goals and 15 assists.
You look at the defense for North Carolina, Jordan Smith, Ryan Kilpatrick, Evan Connell comes back. Kafani can play long stick midi or he can play close. Stephen Kelly's got to beware of those trail checks. That's going to happen all the time in college.
He's playing against All-Americans, yeah, and they'll be there when he shows up at Carolina, right?
R.G. Keenan, the main face-off man for North Carolina the last couple years. He is a senior. Stephen's older brother, Frankie, is the backup face-off man down in Chapel Hill for head coach Joe Bresci. I think Stephen Kelly's going to have an opportunity to contribute right away.
Zenker comes near side. Zed Williams looking for a step, fires wide right.
Zed Williams is the one. We highlighted him earlier in the broadcast. 444 career goals, 539 points, Scott, in 4 years.
Unreal.
People will argue that he didn't play against the stiffest of competition, so is he for real? And I'll tell you who's for real is Morris in the goal. Two beautiful saves right there.
Zed Williams from the Seneca tribe. And a lot of Native American players have excelled, obviously, in the game of lacrosse. It's part of their heritage.
Well, the latest, of course, is the Thompson trio at Albany. Lyle Thompson, his brother Miles, and their cousin Ty. It's the Creators game. Good news on the World Games front, too. It looks like the Iroquois are going to be able to not only compete this year, they had some visa issues 4 years ago, or actually, I guess it's 3 years ago because the World Games are next year, but I think they're going to be able to compete in the blue division, which is the elite division, and the Iroquois certainly will field an excellent team.
Colin Heacock gives it up top it goes. This is Ben Pridemore. Left-hander shot and a score. Nick Mazza with some heat on that one. Danny Fowler, no match for that one.
Mazza, 6'2", 195 pounds. Stutter step, side step, plants, beautiful placement. Mazza heads to Penn State to play midfield in a team that needs more midfield production. You return Tom Lacrosse, Kyle Van Thoff, Kyle Zittel. But that attack for Penn State, Jeff Tambroni did about 80% of their scoring last year, Scott. They need more midfield punch, and Mazza is one of those players I think that's going to give it to him.
11 goals scored already with nearly 11 minutes to play in the first half. And this has been back and forth. Nobody's had a two-goal lead in the game. So all those college coaches that are watching the underclass games for future talent, obviously all these guys are committed. They're just here watching their guys holding their breath, right? That nobody gets injured.
Yeah, and it's a source of pride.
Yeah.
You're talking with Bill Tierney yesterday. I saw Dave Petramala, Jerry Byrne, the assistant for Notre Dame. You know, they're here to check out, and they're proud that their players are playing in this Under Armour All-American game. It's a chance for them to shake their hands, smile at them, because guess what, boys? In about a month, you're carrying the water jug, you're shagging balls at practice, and you're singing songs in the freshman bus.
I had a college football coach tell me, first you recruit them, then you have to unrecruit them. So the North answers as we continue to go back and forth. We're tied at 6.
Goal by Nick Aponte. We just saw Mazza score a goal heading to Penn State. So is Nick Aponte. 24 goals, 25 assists for West Islip High School. And this has got to make Jeff Tambroni feel pretty good. Look at the placement.
Low to high, yeah.
Wow. So Baza and Aponte both heading to State College next year.
And how about the future of the Big Ten Lacrosse Conference?
Well, you know, Johns Hopkins just became the first affiliate member ever in the history of that conference. Maryland, of course, jumped to the Big Ten earlier this year. You've got Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and then Rutgers migrating.
Yeah.
They'll begin play in 2015, Scott.
And you would think with Michigan's budget that eventually they'll elevate that program to be on par with some of the big boys in the conference.
They're committed. Had a rough season this year. Ohio State made it to the NCAA quarterfinals. Penn State, NCAA first round, upset by Yale. Johns Hopkins, of course, and Maryland had what you would call in Homewood and College Park disappointing seasons.
Pulled to the goal and a shot to score. So this isn't just about the attacks in the middies. That is Jack Lambert from Cross River, New York. He scored before. He had 8 goals this season, 8 assists, 115 ground balls. He's also an all-state football player who set a single season record for touchdowns at his school.
So what is this, tit for tat? Baza and Aponte from Penn State score. Then the long sticks headed to Carolina. First it was Kafani, and now it's Jack Lambert.
If you're Jack Lambert, I guess you have to play football. That's a football name.
I'd imagine so.
And he set a school record for touchdowns.
So you've got 2 long stick midfielders headed to Chapel Hill with offensive mindsets.
Zach Currier had it, but the North with possession. North on top 7-6. 9 minutes to play first half in the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game.
Carolina, of course, no stranger to offensive-minded long stick middies. The Staines brothers, Ronnie and Mark.
Nice trail check there.
Who said this was an all-star game, Scott? Everybody's playing hard, fighting for these ground balls.
Kevin Gayhart made the play there. Gayhart 6'5", 210.
True.
He's headed to Penn. Played at Episcopal Academies from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. That left-hander just missed. Let's go down to Booker Corrigan.
Joined by Stephen Kelly. Bones, you're facing off tonight and you're playing both ends of the field. How exhausting is that for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's tiring with this heat on the turf, but, you know, it's a great time. But, you know, we're all running here. We're all pretty tired. It's having a great time, though. And, you know, going 2 ways can be, you know, get the wind out of you a little bit, but it's fun. I love it. I love doing it.
And the Under Armour experience, how does it compare to the Under-19 experience you had for Team USA last summer?
Absolutely. Both were absolutely unbelievable experiences, you know. U19, something I'm always going to remember with those group of guys, but this in itself is absolutely awesome, you know, meeting 44 or 43 new guys, you know, 44 new girls, you know, and just building new relationships. It's absolutely a great time. Hooked up with a lot of sweet gear, you know, and just hanging out, playing lacrosse, which we love to do. So it's really been awesome.
Great experience. Stephen Bones Kelly headed to the University of North Carolina. Let's go back up to Scott and Mark.
I like that he pointed out not only met 44 guys, but there are 44 girls here, too.
Girls.
Right? Yeah.
Way to go, Stephen.
We were at the lunch, boys and girls there, right?
The North, I believe, beat the South 18-16 in the girls' All-American game.
Courtney Fortunato was the game's MVP. She tied an event record, scoring 8 points on 4 goals and 4 assists. North came from behind in the second half, beat the South 18-16.
Incredible athletes.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Courtney at halftime. Ball down, North back in possession. 6:40 to play, first half. North in the dark jerseys on top of the South, 7-6. Ooh, wow. Big hit there. All-star game, they're playing some defense. Protect the crease, right?
Might be an all-star game, Scott, but you protect the paint.
That was Kevin Gayhart, who we talked about. I think it forced the turnover the time before.
Hey, you mentioned Gayhart, 6'5", 210, headed to the University of Pennsylvania. He's a defenseman.
Looking at his notes, they named him the league's most improved player in 13. Also played basketball and football, multi-sports. There's a pattern here. Whoa, looked like a change of pace almost. But Baza with his second goal of the game. And we're back tied again. What's new?
The Keystone State taking over. Gayhart with the physical play on the defensive end of the field and labels the South to get possession. They come down, and Baza, guy's a gunslinger. Look at this move. Lefty, he sort of tucks it underneath.
Yeah, hard to find that, right?
Of his thigh, and then just, pew. A little dance for you too, Scott. Well done.
North wins the face-off.
You know, if you're going to come with the dancing moves, Miles Jones, who's going to be a sophomore at Duke a couple years ago, did the Dougie for us out there. And you got to come hard.
You had to tell me what it was.
You got to come hard like that.
I didn't recognize it, but you seem to be right on it.
Yeah, Miles Jones was doing his best Soul Train impersonation out there. Excellent dancer.
One of the few times in this game where it slowed down a beat or two, because it's pretty much been end to end.
Well, the good thing about, the sun's going down, so the temperature will drop a little bit. The guys are sweating profusely, so maybe that'll cool them off some. Staying hydrated on the sideline.
Kelly with a step and a shot and a score. So Stephen Kelly, who's been big at the X, gets into the scoring game with the left-hander. We just heard from him down on the sidelines with Booker Corrigan.
We said before, he's so much more than just a Fogo, face-off, get-off guy. Kelly is a bona fide offensive scoring threat. And look, he's plays with both hands effectively, right and left. And that time it's just a simple left drag dodge. Double was a little bit lazy, didn't get out on his hands. Kelly's able to ping the corner again. You look at the North Carolina roster, Scott. 20 midfielders are listed. I think they're accepting applications for attackmen down in Chapel Hill.
And you know what you won't find in the program about Stephen Kelly? Doesn't list his want to. And watching him play football and lacrosse, he got a lot of that.
There you go.
Yeah, makes him a special player.
Sure. We talk about the attack for North Carolina coming back. You've got Jimmy Bitter, Joey Sankey, and Patrick Kelly, Stephen Kelly's cousin, will be a sophomore next year for Coach Joe Bresci.
.420 to play first half. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon with you. Johnny Unitas Stadium.
There you see the college coaches, front row seat, checking out their new players.
North on the break. Upstairs, shot and a score. Well, you got the best players in the country, and when you let them get in that close, you almost feel bad for the goalies, right? Trying to stop that stuff.
That is just a beautiful play by Matt Ryan, the long stick midfielder. Look at him pick the pass off. Look at that, like a free safety. And watch the soft hands, the vision, and that's just a touch pass over to Guttering. And look at Guttering just plant his feet, sticks it high to high. Beautiful job by Ryan, good finish by Guttering.
And we're tied at 8. We've been tied at 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Matt Ryan, Scott, headed to Harvard University next year. He's a long stick midi. They've got a good one in Brian Fisher. We'll see if Fisher moves down to close defense for Coach Chris Wojcik, and Ryan will take over the long stick midfield duties. And then Guttering heads to Duke University. We want to talk about a returning attack for the national champions. Jordan Wolf is back, Case Mathias is back, and Josh Dion is back. Starting attack unit for your national championship team is back.
Well, take a good look at these young men, because they are the best, and you'll see them starring in the college game. There's another shot and a score. Of course, the South would answer. Matt Rambo's got another one.
Fowler's like, geez, I'm going to face that guy for 4 years. He'll be at Maryland. Fowler will be at Duke. Look at the spin move. And Rambo is naturally an attackman, but he's playing midfield tonight for head coach Josh Sims. And this is just a simple roll dodge. That's all it is. Starts out with the right, puts a stick in his left. Sticks it for his second goal of the evening.
Back to the quality of this class in this game. 33 Under Armour All-Americans in the Final Four this past season. 7 Duke starters in the championship game, Under Armour alum.
Well, you talk about another Under. I just saw one yesterday, Deemer Class.
Okay, yep.
Was out at a Got Skills training session, watching him work with some youngsters. Ran second midfield for the Blue Devils.
Oh, where did that come from? Triple team, looked like he was down in a heap, and suddenly a shot and a score. I need to see the replay of this one, Mark. I'm not sure where that came from. Another one of the guys you highlighted in the pregame show.
Wilkins Dismuke, a left-handed, powerful, strong dodger.
Oh, there it is.
And look at him.
Oh.
And look at 17. He's like, you kidding me? He kept the ball in his stick? That's John Blatz, or Ed Blatz.
He was smothered. Dark jerseys everywhere, and out of the pile, a shot and a score.
Dismuke gives Dave Petromala and Bobby Benson, the offensive coordinator for Hopkins, something they haven't had the last couple of years, a big, strong lefty attackman. They return Wells Stanwyck. They've got Brandon Ben working the inside. They graduate Zach Palmer and John Kasner. Dismuke will have a chance to contend for playing time immediately for that Johns Hopkins attack unit.
Most goals ever in the game, 35 total. They might get after that one here tonight the way this thing's going. Got 18 on the board with 2:48 to play in the first half.
Eddie Blatz is just looking around like, you kidding me? I can't believe that Dismuke held on to that ball.
First 2-goal lead in the game at 10-8 with the South on top. Both coaches expected to split time with their goalies.
Oh, yeah.
By halves.
Josh Sims was messing with you, saying he was going to play one goalie over 1 and 4.
He said he was thinking about going 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. But
he's just messing with you. He wanted to make your job tougher.
Yeah. Not the first time I've been had. Battle for the ground ball, won by the South. Look out. Will Reynolds in trouble.
That's one thing attackmen will need to do at all levels. Shout out to...
Oh, nice play there. Fake the shot, and then Emery moved in about 3 more steps, unloaded and scored.
You'll recognize the name Emery in college lacrosse. His older brother Rob, playing for the University of Virginia. Matt will join him in Charlottesville. Fakes the shot, little hitch move, steps in, draws the defense out. That's not good defense, by the way. Nice shot by Emery.
That's all-star defense, right?
Olay. You talk about the midfield unit for the University of Virginia. They return Ryan Tucker, Rob Emery, Chris LaPierre will be back after missing what should have been a senior season due to a knee injury. Greg Caholen had a nice season for Dom Starcia, so.
Stephen Kelly with another face-off win, but runs into some trouble. Ran into a triple team and turned it over.
Yeah, talk about riding for attackmen. Want to give a shout out to my U11 Rough Rider team. Hope you guys are hydrating, getting ready for tomorrow's action. Talk about riding all the time at the youth level.
I want to give a shout out to your opponents that are going. I hope those kids are hydrating and wish them well tomorrow.
I wish them luck.
This is a tournament, right?
Tournament, yeah.
Okay.
Tournament.
Good luck, Coach Dixon.
Thank you.
AKA Coach Marinovich. You didn't throw your hat today, did you?
Of course not.
It's too warm. Had to keep that head covered, right?
Got to keep the bald head from getting sunburned.
And there's a shot and a score. Little bouncer on the left wing from Ian King. King representing Ohio in this game. He's from Xavier in Cincinnati, and he'll be playing his college lacrosse for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, we talked about Michigan a little while ago, the Big Ten Conference. This is the second ever Under Armour All-American for John Paul and his Michigan Wolverines. Just a nice little stick fake right there. Defense bit, King steps in. Michigan 1-13 this past season, Scott, so really the only place to go for the Wolverine program is up. And getting players like King's only going to help.
Oh, right on the doorstep, and bang, bang, just like that. And the South keeps winning face-offs, and that'll lead to things like that, right?
Danny Fowler's just kind of being hung out to dry right about now. He's made several nice saves here in the first half, but you're not going to stop this one. It's the face-off work. You hit it, Scott. You win it clean. You come down. Backside, Dismuke, the lefty, sweeps the ice after sticking it in the back of the cage. Nice handle, good finish.
I think that's 5 unanswered goals now. We had ties all the way from 1 through 8, and then the South has gone on this run. Under a minute to play in the first half. South on top 13-8. They're scoring goals at a record pace here in the Under Armour All-America Classic.
Nice takeaway.
Oh, that was pretty.
Zach Currier. Swim move.
Zach to the rack.
Wow.
And off the pipe.
Currier lost the face-off, didn't get up, got the ball back.
10 seconds.
There's some body.
Ooh. Time running out, and with 1 second left, the South adds another one. Dismuke with a hat trick in about, what, 3 minutes?
Give a lot of credit to Wilkins, Dismuke, but the North defense, I think, let up a little bit. The South offense right now is just rolling. Nice ground ball, good clock recognition by Currier. Look at a little one-handed pass. Everybody from the North is running up the field. It's not halftime yet, boys. Dismuke has the hat trick.
From Lone Tree, Colorado, Wilkins Dismuke. 2-time Denver Post Player of the Year and Athlete of the Year.
Jay Petramalo mentioned he has a little bit of Canadian flair to his game, and you saw the nice stick fakes right there. And
well, Dismuke scored the 10-8 goal. He scored the 13-8 goal and then capped it with 1 second left with the 14-8 goal. I think they need a cold beverage. Let's go down to the sidelines and join Booker Corrigan.
Joined here by Courtney Fortunato out of Northport High School in Long Island.
For our team stats in the first half, shots by period. South leads the North 37-25. In ground balls at South 31, North 23.
You are watching Under Armour All-America Lacrosse, all part of the Summer of Next on ESPNU. The girls' game was won by the North. They rallied in the second half to defeat the South 18-16, and Booker Corrigan is with the game's MVP. Booker?
Thanks, Scott. I'm joined here by Courtney Fortunato out of Northport High School on Long Island. Courtney, you're headed to Notre Dame University, but you were the MVP this year. You set a record for points in the game. Detail for us your experience with the Under Armour girls senior game.
It was an incredible experience. A big honor to win the MVP award. It was a really good game, back and forth, very even both ways, and it was just exciting. And yeah, like I said, a big honor to be in it, just to be selected for it. Everyone was amazing that played, and everyone was deserving of the award. So.
And you're by no means new to the Under Armour All-American experience. You played in it twice before on the underclass game. How important has the Under Armour lacrosse experience been to you in your recruiting aspect and ending up at Notre Dame?
Very important. Just like all the other tournaments, this one really brings in the college coaches and lets everyone get the exposure to them. And, you know, we put together great teams, so it's easy to just like showcase yourself and have a good time, and it's just a really fun experience.
And having a good time. Now let's look forward. You're headed to Notre Dame. What are your expectations as you join the Fighting Irish?
Very high. I'm really hoping that obviously like a national championship would be amazing, but I just hope that we play really well, and I'm sure I'm going to have an amazing experience. So I'm just looking forward to what Coach Halfpenny has for the future for us, and just really excited to get there and start.
And Courtney, again, congratulations on the new record for the Under Armour game. That's a tremendous experience and a great achievement. Scott, let's go back up to you in the booth.
All right, thank you, Booker. North beat the South in the girls' game 18-16. Here in the boys' game, the South on top 14-8 at the half. Back with some first half highlights right after this. Welcome back. It's halftime. The South leads the North 14-8 as we take a look at some of the first half stats, and it's been a wild first half.
The goalies have been tasted a tremendous amount of shots. Look at the saves. Both goalies, I think, acquitted themselves very nicely. The South has been able to go on this run and get out to this 14-8 lead because of the face-off work of Courier and Kelly at the face-off dot. So important in this game of lacrosse, and hence they're winning the ground ball battle.
Well, we knew there was a lot of offense in that first half. A couple of notes. The 14 combined goals in the second quarter, the most ever for one period in this event's 8-year history. And the South's 10 goals in the quarter also set a new record. Remember, it was tied, and they went on that big run from 8-8 to go up 13-8. Let's take a look at the first half highlights, Mark.
Oh, with the new rules, scoring is the premium these days, and Matt Rambo, headed to the University of Maryland, gets a shoe shine after scoring the game's first goal.
And there was some, despite all the scoring, some great play between the pipes.
Morris did an exceptional job for the South early on. Not to be outdone, Danny Fowler headed to Duke University. Both Morris and Fowler will be battling in the ACC for years to come. Next goal scored inside by the North. I was impressed by the ball movement of the North. That's Rotan's. And then look at the nice shot by Maltz. Maltz headed to Syracuse University. He'll be teammates with his brother Derek.
And then Zach Miller.
Miller headed to Denver University. So versatile. And look at the little dipsy-do underhand shot. Great presence, great confidence as he went across the face of the goal. And then right to left.
Courier. Yeah.
Headed to Princeton University. Excellent move out of the midfield.
Tied at 4 after 1. Let's pick up second quarter action.
Well, this is Lukovic.
Yeah.
Lukovic, you said it.
Lukovic.
Come ahead of the Chaminade. And then we see some long stick midfielders getting into it. This is an offensive dodge. Beautiful shot for the South. That's Kafani. Not to be outdone. Here comes Jack Lambert. Don't worry, Ravens fans. It's not that Jack Lambert. But Jack Lambert headed to the University of North Carolina. Then we got Stephen Kelly. He's doing all the work at the face-off that he said, hey, I'm going to stick one myself in the Calvert Hall product. 3 Tar Heels in a row there with Kafani, Lambert, and Kelly. And then, Wilkins to Smuke from his backside sticks it past Morris. And then to end the first half, Smuke, the underhand feed from Courier, sticks it, buzzer beater. And that gets South their 14th goal of the first 30 minutes of action.
And Dismuke wound up scoring 3 of the last 5 goals in the half. Every athlete receives a commemorative medal. They're all from the 2014 through 2016 graduating classes. 3,700 total kids registered for tryouts. Long Island boys tryouts had more than 400 sign up. The 3-day Under Armour Underclass Elite Stars tournament had 20 boys and girls teams from 10 different regions in the U.S. 24 kids made up each of their respective regions' rosters to compete this weekend, and 200 college coaches showed up at both the Baltimore and Long Island tryouts.
This has become a marquee premier event on the recruiting circuit, on the playing circuit. 68 of this year's senior All-Americans, boys and girls, participated last year as a member of their region's underclass team. That is unbelievable. What's that? I'm not good at math, Scott. 68 out of 88. We're at around, what, 80%?
Yeah, it's very good.
Enough.
It's very good, Mark. Put that Hopkins education to use. We're at halftime. The South boys lead the North 14-8. Strike and oppose.
He's checking you out.
Yeah. Looks like a young Mark Dixon back in the day.
I don't know why he's wearing a wool hat when it's 100 degrees out.
Dog days of summer.
Hey, I tell you what, that's a good-looking pooch. Taking in a lot of goal scoring, 22 goals between the two teams.
And we are underway here North in the dark jerseys, they trail it 14-8.
Newsflash, North just won a face-off.
Yeah. Stephen Kelly is dominated at the X. North needs something good to happen. South's on a 6-0 run to end the first half.
New goalie in for the South is Matt Barrett, 6 foot, 230 pounds, out of Malvern Prep. He's headed to the University of Virginia. Talk about the goaltenders down at Virginia. They started with freshman Dan Marino. He gave way to sophomore Rhodey Heller. I'm not quite so sure the coaching staff of Virginia is sold on either one of those guys, so Barrett's going to have an opportunity to compete for that starting job right away.
That 6 feet, 230 you mentioned? Yeah, he played football.
Yep.
Multi-sport. Here, a little communication down on the field. That's the toughest part, right? Especially defensively, not having played with the guys. You only really had about one practice and a walkthrough. Just trying to communicate. All-Americans, obviously all good players. Well, there's a turnover right back to the North. A little rush shot from Zach Miller.
It was a nice takeaway check by Austin Kafani. And a nice pickoff filling the lane right there by Matt Emery.
So the South brings it in, up 14-8 as we start the third quarter here at Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. The 8th Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game. North leads this series 4-3. North won last year 12-11. They also won in 2011. That was 11-9. So generally these games have been tight.
You saw that play by Emery right there, and we heard Stephen Kelly talking with Booker earlier about being a two-way midi.
Oh, good pass and then a nice save.
With these new rules, Scott, with no sideline horns, quicker restarts, you've got to be able to play defense if you're a midfielder because you have to get up and down the field.
Parker Farragon in goal for the North now. He's from Baldwinsville, New York, and headed for the Orange, who plays college lacrosse at Syracuse. 237 saves for him this season.
Get a good look at referee Keith Runk, joined by Mike Warner and Howard Smedley tonight, keeping things under control.
The guys are earning their keep tonight, running down, up and down this field in this heat and humidity.
Slashing foul against the North. But you mentioned Farragon, Scott. He's headed to Syracuse, national runners-up. Bobby Wardwell was a starter last year in the Johns Hopkins game, so about a third through the season, they switched to Dom Lamalinara.
Nice backside pass results in a goal.
Guess who?
4 for him, right? Wilkins Dismuke, the slick left-hander.
Dismuke is very smooth. Extra man offense, fakes the pass, gets the defender to bite ever so slightly. Just leans to his right, and that gives Dismuke the leverage to slip underneath and put it past goaltender Farragon. Be interested to see what the goalie battle looks like for Coach John Desko and the Syracuse Orange this fall with Lamalinara, the incumbent, but Wardwell breathing right down his neck, and now you got Dismuke coming in. Farragon coming in as an Under Armour All-American.
Dismuke has scored 4 of the last 6 goals for the South. Stephen Kelly's going to sleep well tonight. He's taken a ton of face-offs. This is Sutton. Quick spin and score for Dylan Maltz.
South starting to run away with this thing. Maltz, his second goal, and it looks almost like a carbon copy of the first. He's so quick getting to the edge and getting leverage on his defender. If you're a defenseman, you've got to get your stick upfield. You can't allow him to get topside like that. And look at how Maltz uses the defender's hands, almost like a turnstile. He hits the back on the one hand and then slides quickly to the other, gets a stick around the defender, and puts it past the goaltender.
Kelly with another face-off win. Look out. Ooh.
Who's your buddy?
They could be dangerous.
Nice trail check.
Popped it away, and here comes the North. Eight straight goals for the South at 16-8. They end the run. So the North grabs back a little momentum here as it's been all South lately, and that cuts it to 16-9.
Yeah, Zach Miller again. He's scored a couple goals on ball. This one is completely off ball. He just finds a soft spot in the defense. His defender is slow to react. And Miller just takes the feed and hits the shot. That's a nice assist by Cannizzaro. We haven't called Connor's name a whole lot tonight. He's headed to the University of Maryland.
We got a timeout on the field, 10:58 to play in the third quarter. South leads the North 16-9 in the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game.
When you look at the Orange and what they have coming back, Scott Loy, Hakeem Leckie, Henry Schoonmaker, Matt Walters, they lose Jojo Marasco, Luke Cometti, but the rich only get richer.
And we should point out that the boys and the girls, all the Under Armour All-Americans, heard from the Wounded Warrior Project at last night's banquet, and they got the message right up front. And this weekend is about more than just lacrosse. I mean, there's usually a message delivered like that to these young men and women.
Absolutely. It's an amazing partnership between Under Armour and the Wounded Warrior Project. Such an incredible organization helping out our servicemen and women as they come back from combat. And locally here in the area, the Shootout for Soldiers back in June raised over $100,000, a 24-hour lacrosse game that was kicked off by a veterans game this year. Tyler Steinhardt runs that thing, a boys Latin graduate. So we've seen it firsthand, Scott, you and I, the Wounded Warrior Project and lacrosse. The synergy between the sport and the Wounded Warrior Project is second to none.
Now the North battling back here. They scored a couple of goals, cut the 16-8 lead to 16-10. They've got possession now. Take a look at Connor Cannizzaro. His sister Kara coached the women's team. She coached the North side. 09 Under Armour All-American herself.
And MVP of the NCAA women's tournament this year. She led her North Carolina Tar Heels to their first ever national championship.
Wow. That shot off of Matt Barrett. I think it got him up in the headgear.
I hit it right off the face. Let's not.
Yeah.
No need to gussy that one up.
Right.
He took it right off the kisser.
That's a pork chop. A little over 9 to play, third quarter. Ooh, nice save. Oh, but not the second time. They're working over Matt Barrett pretty good. He takes one off the face mask, makes a great save, but on the third time, the North comes through with their third straight goal.
Look at the defense giving him a hard time, saying, why couldn't you save that? Barrett's like, get out of here. Look at the quick hands, though. Barrett's a big guy, and those are soft hands. Beautiful save, but look at Zach Miller stepping in, and Barrett just couldn't get that one. So opportunistic goal. Miller with the first shot that doesn't go, but doesn't give up on it. Lesson to all you young lacrosse players there, just like basketball. Get your own rebound, follow your shot. Zach Miller that time does that and gets the goal.
His fourth of the game.
And look at, hey, he wins the faceoff too, Scott.
Yep.
He's versatile. Very impressed so far with Zach Miller. headed to Denver University.
Barrett covers up and says, let's play down the other end for a while, guys.
Got to buckle up his chin strap, though. He's got both straps undone. That's illegal.
You'd call him on that, would you?
Better not let referee Runk see you.
North trying to cut the lead to 4. Barrett pinches on the near side. Here comes the South.
Nice ground ball. That's Nick Fields showing his athleticism, speed, and stick work as he gets out of that tough ride from the North.
Got dumped from behind just after he got the pass off. There's
Fields.
Double team.
Headed to Johns Hopkins. Wow.
Parker Farragut with a nice save, and here comes the North.
Oh! These goalies are like, guys, come on, help me out a little bit here.
The close D isn't close.
No.
7:45 to play third quarter. South on top 16-11, make it 16-12. So the North now with a nice run. They've scored 4 unanswered goals, and that's Rotan's. Scored the first goal of the game for the North. I think that's a hat trick for him.
Attack is the area where Maryland needs help on the offensive end. You've got Cannizzaro, Rambo, and this guy right here, Tim Rotan's, headed down to College Park to play for John Tillman. He's a playmaker. Look at him just wear his defender out with some back and forth dodging. Gets top side. His persistence got him the time and space needed to make that scoring opportunity a reality.
4 straight for the North. They're down by 4. Faceoff violation and the South in possession. Kelly, good pass.
Oh. Take the extra step.
Here comes the North. Chance to cut it to 3. 7:10 to play in the third quarter. North maintains possession. South scored the first 2 goals of this quarter, and then the North have run off 4 straight. Miller, Forkin, Miller, and Rotans. And that one looks like he got a piece of it. Matt Barrett turns around and sees it in the back of the net.
It's JT Forkin again, the lefty. It looks like Barrett had a beat on this one, but loses it at the last second. Just gets between the 5-hole. Again, Forkin out of Long Beach, New York. Very talented Dodger, 56 goals, 17 assists for his head coach, James Casper. All county honors in football, Scott, and won a state title in hockey.
There you go. See hockey and it makes me feel better. I start thinking of cold ice.
There you go.
North with a chance to cut it to 2. Remember, they were down 16-8. They scored 5 straight.
Quick hands by Barrett. Nice save.
He kicked it.
You might be an all-star game, but you hear the coach is still working the refs.
Absolutely.
Trying to get those calls.
Should point out the assistants, too. Jeff Reynolds assisted by Kyle Menendez and J.J. Miller. Also, George Corrigan, the legend coaches. George, former All-American at Maryland. And then on the other side, Josh Sims. He's assisted by Travis Crane and Dick Corrigan.
Lee's dad.
The legendary.
So you got Booker's dad on one side, and you got Lee's father on the other.
Battle of the Corrigans.
Both were All-Americans back in the day at the University of Maryland. So don't think for 1 second that they couldn't play the game.
Let's go down to Booker.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's an honor to have George and Dick on this sideline because they've been coaching and teaching the game of lacrosse ever since they got out of Maryland, and they're very proud to be former Terps, and they're waiting for Coach John Tillman to bring that hardware back to College Park.
And Booker, I saw them both drawing up some plays at lunch the other day. They're coaching.
Oh, yeah. They love to get in there and share it with the kids. They've gotten along with kids from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Great careers.
Hey Booker, you got to tell me, what do they think of all the swag and the gear and the fancy shoes?
I know one thing. My dad gets a huge kick out of it, and it drives Dick crazy.
Different times, and the North scores again. Simpson cuts it to 16-14. That's 6 straight goals for the North here in the third quarter.
Simpson out of Hamilton, Ontario, played at the Salisbury School. For head coach Bobby Wynn, just a nice hitch move right there. And look at how he hid his stick. And he didn't show it to Barrett. Barrett was late. That was beautiful placement by Simpson. Pre-med at University of North Carolina. Shane Simpson hopes to be a doctor one day.
Pre-med, also hockey player, track sprinter, ran the 100 and 200 meter. Here comes the North. South back on their heels now. There's another one. Up top. Matt Barrett didn't have a prayer.
This play is made by winning the face-off and unselfish lacrosse. Great ball movement. The fake down to Miller, who slips it down to Rotans, and it puts it in the back of the net. Started with Nicopanti. Nice job. Penn State to Denver to Maryland. It's the last time you're going to see those guys working together.
Coverage of the World University Games continues Sunday morning with water polo as the United States takes on Montenegro. The World University Games Sunday at 7:30 a.m. on ESPNU, also live on Watch ESPN. 7 consecutive goals for the North All-Americas here as they have cut the lead to 1. It was 14-8 at the half. South came out and got the first 2 goals. Dismuke and Malt scored. It was 16-8. And we were thinking runaway, right?
Yeah.
And then 7 in a row for the North. And we've got a 1-goal game. We're also getting up near the all-time high in combined goals for the Under Armour All-America game. Current record is 35 combined goals. We're at 31 and still have over 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
A lot of good offense. We saw it this year in college lacrosse with the new rules. Pace of play increased, scoring was up.
So Mark, what's your take on the clock and the future? Are we going to see a real clock? There's a shot and a score, and the South finally stops the bleeding. Michael Sutton goes upstairs. And it's 17-15 South. Ends the 7-0 run by the North.
You're Jeff Tambroni, you got to feel pretty good. Baza, Aponte, and now Sutton, your other midfield recruit. They've all scored in this game. 22 goals and 4 assists this year for St. Augustine Prep. And again, you can't stress it enough. That's what Penn State needs to get to the next level. Midfield scoring. And it looks like Jeff Tambroni has himself 3 very nice midfielders headed to Happy Valley.
Kelly with the face-off win. The extra pass, and doesn't look like he was ready for it, right?
Unselfish lacrosse.
I asked you about the clock and what you see its future after a year of taking note, and I think a lot of people liked it.
I think a lot of people liked it. They don't like the subjectivity of it, and they don't like the fact that it's invisible. It's not fan-friendly, it's not television-friendly, it's not coach and player-friendly because you don't know exactly how much time is left. The rule cycle is every 2 years, but I do have a feeling, I'm pretty certain, that some semblance of the rules committee will get together this summer and they'll talk about some changes. The thing is, you have to have it at all levels, 1, 2, and 3, and some schools simply say they don't have the resources to have a visible shot clock. That guy's got some resources.
Yeah,
though.
he's got some resources. He's got some talent. It's a 17-16 game. That's number 5 for him.
Look at his demeanor. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Cannizzaro with a nice feed inside. Miller steps down, spins, shoots. He's not afraid of contact. And he's just so smooth. Bill Tierney's got himself a good one heading out west.
Let's go down to Booker.
Great to see Zach Miller with that nifty little roll and score. I'm joined by Danny Fowler. Danny, you're headed off to Duke to play with your older brother, Brendan. But let's talk about tonight. How did you get your defense to come together? You had a great first quarter.
Yeah, so we had 2 practices yesterday, and it was good to just get the team everyone introduced to each other, and just talk and started communicating, went over what we were going to do today, and yeah, that was it.
And you were playing goalie out there. You think the next level it's going to be even higher than this, or are these the guys you're expecting to see?
I'm sure it'll be definitely be different from high school, but I feel like this is the top high school lacrosse in the country, so it's definitely good to get out here and see some of these shots and get used to what I'm going to be seeing next year.
Danny Fowler, the goalie in the first half for the North team. Let's go back up to Scott and Mark.
Hey, congratulations to Danny Fowler for getting the interview. The Chaminade 4 was down there when Booker came out, and all 4 of them went up to try to angle for the interview. Fowler gets the job done. Well done, Danny.
Good for him. Meanwhile, say hello to Matt Rambo as he makes it 18-16.
I've hardly seen Rambo in the game, but when the kid touches the ball, he scores goals. Just on the restart, off the end line, a simple straight bull dodge, left to left. He just beats his man top side and slips it by the goaltender Corrigan.
Number 3 for Rambo. Got a lot of multiple goal scorers. Zach Miller with 5. There's another one. Don't look down at your score sheet because you might miss one.
Rambo.
Back to back. And now the South has scored 3 of the last 4 goals. So it's like a basketball game with these runs.
Right off of the face-off, Stephen Kelly, pinch and pop to himself, wins it clean, senses where the defense is, Rambo steps in, sticks it. This guy has been the #1 ranked recruit by Inside Lacrosse since he was a sophomore at LaSalle College. So for 3 straight years, #1 has had a target on his back, and he's handled it very, very well.
A rare face-off loss for Stephen Kelly. He's just dominated out there tonight. And the North up with it, trailing by 3. 19-16, 2:20 to play, third quarter. North leads this series 4 games to 3, but the South has won the last 2. Both close games, 11-9 2 years ago. Last year, it was a 12-11 South win. Gordy Korber, the MVP in that game.
Breaking news out of Denver this summer. Rumors swirling that Korber is going to transfer from the Pioneers. Destination unknown.
Simpson on the run. Wide left. Oh, we saw a goal with a second left at the end of the half. So who can win the final minute and a half here in the third quarter? Oh, up and over the boards.
Kelly.
Stephen Kelly.
Quick restart. There's no mercy. You got to get back on the field, man. Oh, nice trail check.
Yep. Good job there. That was the South's Austin Kafani. South with possession in a 3-goal lead. A wild third quarter. It was 14-8 South at the half. North came all the way back to 16-15 on a 7-0 run. And now the South has scored 3 of the last 4 goals here.
I do know one thing. The next goal that's scored is going to be a new event record. The 35 combined goals ties the previous high.
Yeah.
Just got handed a note by the man himself, Lee Corrigan. We'll talk to Lee in the fourth quarter.
They got a whole quarter to smash that record.
Quick restart. Here comes Heacock.
Double pumps and scores. Too easy.
Colin Heacock out of Boys Latin won the C. Markland Kelly Award, annually given to the top high school lacrosse player in Maryland. 48 goals, 26 assists. I don't think he scored many more easier than that one, just right off the end line. Straight sprint, sticks it. He joins Matt Rambo and Connor Cannizzaro down at Maryland as future Terps.
On Sunday, don't miss head coach Bob McKillop lead the men's basketball team against the United Arab Emirates. World University Games basketball, USA versus United Arab Emirates, Sunday at 7 on ESPNU, also live on Watch ESPN. Final seconds of the quarter. It's a 4-goal lead for the South. North with possession. See if they can get a last-second goal here. They do. 9 seconds left. We had a goal scored with 1 second left at the end of the second quarter. And the North cuts it to 3.
Well, we talked about defense sold separately in the first half. I think defense is optional right now. Cannizzaro just wide open on the crease. This play is made by nice recognition by Rotans. This is going to be a connection for years to come down in College Park. Rotans, Cannizzaro, Heacock, and Rambo playing for the South. So 4 quality attackmen headed down to College Park. Which one or which couple of them will play midfield as the Terps graduated a number of talented middies?
Courier couldn't find it as the final seconds tick down, and that should do it.
In your house. I mean, she's nominated for an ESPY this year, is that correct?
Yeah, she's nominated for the best female collegiate athlete in LA coming on the 17th, and that's pretty neat. Hopefully I can walk on the carpet with her, and everyone vote for her.
I hope they vote for Connor to walk the carpet too. Let's go back up to the booth to Lee Corrigan and Scott Garceau and Mark Dixon.
How cool is that, right?
It's neat.
He might get to walk the red carpet at the ESPYs with his sister.
You know what?
Unless she can get a better date, maybe, right?
Lacrosse. Hey, listen, lacrosse is rearing. You know, last year, what was it? Dom Starsha and Rob Pinnell were up for ESPYs. Head coach of Virginia and the Cornell All-American. John Danowski is up for Coach of the Year this year, Collegiate Coach of the Year, and Kara Cannizzaro is up for Best Female Athlete.
And the North with another goal cuts the lead to 2.
The Penn State goals, guys, just keep coming. Aponte with his second of the evening just sets his man up. Everybody knows he's going to go right hand. He's like, that's fine, give it to me. Sticks it top side. Got to close the gap there, Coach. Zach Courier's got to touch him when he comes in the box.
He's got to get on his goodies there.
Hey, Lee, we mentioned that it's more than just lacrosse. There's a message here, and I know you had the big welcome dinner last night. Nearly 1,800 in attendance, and there's always a message with that, right? You talked about the Wounded Warrior Project earlier.
Absolutely. You know, we had Jason Brassey from the Wounded Warrior come out and talk to that crowd, and you know, it's a really inspirational message, and it's very important for these kids to understand how fortunate they are. And you know, the Wounded Warrior, Under Armour's teamed up with them, and bringing them in was a natural, and it just worked so well because these kids are so fortunate. You know, there's some guys out in Iraq and Afghanistan today that are these guys' age. So I don't think we need to lose sight of that.
Especially Independence Weekend, it all kind of ties together, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. We got a lot of things pretty good over in this country.
Yeah, we do.
A little over 11 minutes to play, fourth quarter. South on top of the North, 21-19. Most offensive showcase here in the Under Armour All-America lacrosse game.
There are some defensive coordinators that would call it offensive.
Pretty clean run to the cage there.
Lee, you mentioned the uncommitted games that were played here today, both 3 on the boys' side, 3 on the girls' side. In this age of early commits, you know, 9th graders and 10th graders, how successful were those games, and how special were they, and how important are they?
Yeah, they're actually very important. It's one of the things that was driven by the need to try to satisfy the college coaches. College coaches, of course, come to the underclassmen games, and a lot of those kids are already committed, and we have to cut so many kids in every region that are really, really good players. And so what we decided to do is take the top 5 kids from each region in each age group and bring them here to Baltimore and let them play in these uncommitted games. And it was a feeding frenzy out there with college coaches, of course.
It is a goal, yeah.
Howard Smedley right where he needs to be. Good call.
Waiting for the call. I think it was Nick Baza. Yep.
Baza, Aponte, and Sutton. Remember those names, folks. They're the midfielders headed to Penn State. You produce in the Under Armour All-America game, and you get talked about a lot. And these 3 midfielders are doing a terrific job for their respective teams this evening. Look at the placement of that thing. Right inside the pipe, and there he goes. Yep, right there, guys. That's where it hit. Goal's good.
ESPNU has more coverage of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup as the quarterfinals continue Sunday. At 10:45, Iraq takes on Korea Republic. Then at 1:45, Ghana faces Chile. The FIFA Under-20 World Cup Sunday at 10:45 a.m. and 1:45 p.m. on ESPNU. Both matches also live on Watch ESPN. 3-goal lead for the South. Just under 10 minutes left in the 8th annual Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game. You may have to replace a few nets after this one, Lee.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think you singed a couple here.
Yeah, Towson University is going to be after us.
They've been a good partner, a great place for this game, Johnny Unitas Stadium.
Yeah, it sure is. It's perfectly set up for what we need. Of course, we have the great venue inside the Johnny Unitas Stadium, and then outside we have the 4 outer fields, which, of course, those underclassmen games are played on.
There's a flyer, then a flag down. What do we got, Dixie?
It's going to be
Crease
a push.
Violation or push? Okay.
No, it's going to be a push. Goal's not good. They're going to say the man hit the crease line before the ball went into the net. But, of course, in college, you can't dive. Blatz, there it is. Blatz extends his arms.
Dismuke flying with the greatest of ease.
Look at Dismuke. He's 2 feet inside the crease. He's still diving. You got to love it. Blatz is like, hey, he's in the crease. And the ref's like, yeah, how'd he get there? Right there.
And look at the look of shock on his face. What are you talking about?
You got to love it.
Let's check in with Booker.
Yeah, just a quick question for Lee. Did you imagine when you came up with this idea to recreate the highest standard of high school lacrosse in the tryouts that it would evolve into the uncommitted games and then a dinner last night for the Wounded Warrior Project with 1,500 people attending? I mean, is that the vision that you had, or has it grown exponentially year by year?
Well, you know, we have a great partner. And, of course, our partner has been Under Armour from day one. And we, of course, have grown. Uh-oh, there's another goal.
That's Jordan Evans. That's all right. We'll go ahead, continue, Lee.
In any case, the event has really grown as Under Armour has taken in their stance into lacrosse. And every single year, the event just keeps getting a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And originally, the original plan was just to create an unbelievable showcase that showcased the very best players in the country. And it's evolved to so much more.
Jordan Evans gets his first of the evening. We highlighted him in our pregame. We haven't heard much from him tonight, but he confirmed with me before the game that he is in line to wear the fabled number 22. That's pretty...
that's highfalutin company.
That is JoJo Marasco, the first-team All-American, wore that number the last couple of years. Now it looks like it's going to be passed on down to Jordan Evans.
How many face-offs have Stephen Kelly taken tonight?
A lot.
He's
earning his keep. He's earning.
Oh, my goodness.
He's earned his swag.
Take the rest of the night off after this one. Well, 2-goal game, Lee. You had a 1-goal game last year, 11-9 the year before. Might be heading the same direction this year.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. And it looks like maybe the guys, if they're going to crank down defensively. Oh, maybe not.
I'm betting on the offense in this game. The latest goal scored by Kieran Eisler. There's a kid from Nevada, right?
Yeah, there
shows
you go.
the breadth of this game. Texas, Nevada, Canada.
Yeah, unbelievable diversity. It just keeps growing, and those club programs in those non-traditional areas are really what helps drive these kids and their exposure.
And this year I saw for the first time you had an Under Armour All-America in the girls game from Southern Cal, as well as Virginia Tech. They had their first Under Armour All-Americans.
That's really neat, especially the Southern Cal story, of course, and wouldn't it be neat if we could get some men's lacrosse out there too?
North wins the face-off. 8:02 left to play. South leads the North 23-20. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon, and Lee Corrigan, who founded this game with us here. There's a shot and a score upstairs, and the North cuts it to 2.
So much for goalies being MVP. Early on, I was saying I thought maybe Morris was the front runner.
I told you that you were a little early with that. He did have some spectacular saves.
I recognized it. I recognize that. It's a Ponte. Johnny on the spot, corrals a ground ball, runs the green, gets his hands free, and just rifles one past Matt Barrett. Nice shot.
Yeah, the accuracy of these shooters tonight has been unreal.
It's special.
Have we had an overtime game yet?
No, we never have.
Okay.
That would be great, right? 29-29 going into OT.
I don't have anything to do until tomorrow, Lee, so. Pretty good test. Obviously, these guys are young in condition, but kind of night where you play 4 quarters of lacrosse in this weather.
Well, you know what? It's going to make them sleep well tonight.
That's for sure.
Can't handle it on the left wing.
Scott Furman started that drive for the North. He'll long stick midi headed to Syracuse.
Pretty good defense that time. Shut the door. Oh, fooled him on the bouncer. Didn't look like Barrett had a good read on that shot.
Jordan Evans headed to Syracuse. We talked about it earlier. You got so much attack coming back. Derek Maltz, Kevin Rice, you got Billy Ward, Dylan Donahue, Nicky Galasso coming back from injury. Where is Jordan Evans going to play next season for Coach John Desko and the Syracuse Orange? And you also have his North teammate Dylan Maltz going up north. National runners-up a year ago, or this season, I should say.
Lee
Syracuse.
won't be long, and the Baltimore Marathon will be off and running. Of course, that's another project that you put a lot of time into.
Oh my God, that was spectacular. Left-handed around the back.
Whew. That might have to make Sports Center top 10.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
there we go.
Now, how long did they practice that?
You know what? That's what they were doing in practice. I know Josh Sims was working very hard with the group on that. If you notice, the choreography of that number was pretty nice.
It was good.
Coach Sims proud of his South squad. Let's check this workout.
Look at Courier.
Ooh.
Whips it around his head. All Farragut can do is TNR, turn and rake.
Wow.
A little Canadian flair, right?
That was nice.
Rowing down Charles Street.
Get them to the Inner Harbor and they're in business. 2-goal lead for the South, 6:45 to play. Nice check there. Eisler created the turnover. Let's see if the South could cash it in. They have smashed the previous record of 35 goals in a game. They're headed for 50. 46 on the board right now. This will be remembered as the year of the goal, Lee Corrigan.
Absolutely, my God. This is making defensive coordinators all over the country shudder. Look at all those sloppy approaches. This is awful.
Good look out front. Wow. Matt Barrett staggered with that save.
Nice clear. It's Kevin Gayhart headed to University of Pennsylvania.
Sutton closed in on with the defense. South maintains possession. 5:35 left. No backup on that one. North trying to cut it to 1. Like a lot of all-star games, you get down to the final 5 minutes and the intensity, I think, goes up a couple of notches when you got a game as competitive and close as this one.
Yeah, like we talked about. It's a lot of pride on the line, and that's a nice play.
Yep. And it's a 1-goal lead for the South. Jordan Evans with the finish.
There we go. They're cranking it down. You're right, Scott. It's going to get interesting here in the next 5 minutes.
Evans now with the hat trick. Quiet all game long. Defense is hung up. Great vision, great patience by Ryan Lukovic. He finds Evans, who just slips it past Matt Barrett. Nice teamwork by the North.
Stephen Kelly out for another face-off.
I'm just figuring out why we never saw Jordan Evans in the second quarter. Looks like they're splitting quarters at attack. It's because they couldn't win a face-off in the second quarter. Now they're winning face-offs and Evans going to work.
Got a scrum here. North with a chance to tie.
Withholding penalty against Stephen Kelly.
Missed on the check, but a nice save. Barrett comes up big. Mark that save in a 1-goal game, right?
Absolutely. Barrett using his full size, full frame to make that stop.
And a shot to score, so the save turns into a goal. Matt Rambo banging it in with the left.
I think that the ball has been in his stick 5 times tonight, and he's got 5 goals. Lee, you've watched him play for a couple years now. I mean, this kid is something else.
Yeah, he's absolutely instant offense, and you're right. He probably has had it for a grand total of about 20 seconds, and he does a great job creating space for himself.
Takes a little shot there, too, at the end. I like it. Coming to my neighborhood uncontested.
Kelly wins the draw, and it turns into an instant score.
Why not, right?
Matt Rambo, I've heard of him. I've heard that name somewhere before.
So smooth. I mean, just very, very smooth.
I would like to offer up that he was the most valuable player of the underclass tournament last year.
We've talked about it, trust us. Showing us why. Right off of the face-off. Kelly comes down, hits the point man. Almost a carbon copy of the goal that was scored in the third quarter. Kelly over to Rambo. Steps in and just, that is smooth like butter. Low to low, no chance for the North goaltender Farragut.
Let's go down to Booker where it's a Corrigan reunion.
I know those guys.
Down here with the 2 legends coaches, Dick Corrigan, George Corrigan. Dick, how did you get the South team off to such a great start tonight with this talent?
Well, I think we had a bunch of great shooters tonight, and that was the key to the process. And I think their goaltending maybe got a little weakened, I don't know, but the shooting was really just tremendous.
And then to a first-team All-American from 1954, University of Maryland, George Corrigan, how did you spark the comeback for the North?
I told them that 500,000 kids in America would like to be in this situation right now, to have the opportunity to bring this team back. And we just got rolling, and we kept rolling. Unfortunately, it looks like we may fall short.
And did you ever realize that lacrosse would reach this kind of a level at the high school?
No, I did not, and have not. I think
what a
back to my
treat!
father,
What a treat
however,
for every
who
kid.
said years ago there are going to be 40,000 people sitting in the stadium watching lacrosse, and he was right.
Shocking that two Corrigans would interrupt one another during a television interview. Let's go back up to the booth with Scott and Mark.
What do you have to say to that, Lee Corrigan?
I feel compelled to break in at this moment.
And there's a shot to score. It's Rambo again. Matt Rambo is putting on a show here. That's 3 straight goals for him as the South has stretched the lead to 27-23.
30 wins. I said it, I tweeted it out at halftime. First to 30 wins. We still have 3 minutes. Look at Rambo. When he gets that stick in his left hand with his feet planted, he is lethal.
By the way, if you tweeted it out, it didn't count if you didn't say it.
All right, well, I'm saying it now.
Follow me. 3:10 left in this game, 50 goals on the board. 7th goal for Matt Rambo, an Under Armour record. There have been a whole bunch of those records set here tonight. None by goalies.
You're just mad because Twitter was your nickname back in high school.
Uh-oh. We got a penalty here, boys.
What do we have?
Well, I think we have the illegal procedure call on the faceoffs.
Oh, man. Okay. They're running that one tonight, huh? New rule in 2013, 3 face-off violations in any given half by a team results in a 30-second time-serving foul.
So the North down 4 with 3:09 left. A little EMO, extra man offense here. Probably didn't have a lot of time to practice those special teams, right?
Yeah, apparently they skipped the whole defensive portion. Well, they spent all the time on defense on the whole Rowan thing, I think.
Nice save by Barrett.
Yep, Barrett's come up with a couple of big saves here in the fourth quarter.
Well, they're the commits, Scott. Duke, Maryland, and Syracuse. Your national champion first round and your national runner-up gets 6 apiece. Carolina with 5. I'm impressed down here. Harvard continues to get terrific Under Armour All-Americans. And Penn State, we've seen a Ponte, Sutton.
What do we have?
Mara.
North Carolina, I think, had the record. They had 8 one year, a couple years back. Yeah.
Carolina's a program that just seems to be knocking on the door of championship weekend, just can't get there.
Oh, Rambo decided to be an assist man that time and wishes he didn't, right?
Rambo's never going to pass again.
Max Green.
He wants that shot back.
That's one of the Harvard recruits headed north to play for Chris Wojcik. He'll join the likes of Devin Dwyer and Peter Schwartz. That's interference.
Time a factor now. We're under 2 minutes left.
Will Rambo get 8? Ocho.
Why not? There it is. A little dipsy-do. Matt Rambo putting on a show.
I'll tell you what, we did get a nice save down here on the defensive end.
It all started with Barrett keeping it out of the back of his net. Nice behind the back pass to Rambo. And guys, we've talked about it throughout the broadcast. In this situation with lacrosse of the 6'2", 6'3", 220-pound player, Matt Rambo, he's listed at 5'10". If he's 5'10", I'm Shaquille O'Neal. He's smaller, scrappy, very skilled player. And lacrosse has room for that in the game.
Well, Evans scored for the North to make it 24-23, and then Rambo scored 4 consecutive goals. 28-23 with just over a minute and a half left to play.
Man, it's like 4 touchdown passes for the South.
You get an MVP vote, Lee? You may want to consider that Rambo guy if you do.
I think he's got a crack. He's got a shot at it. He's got a shot.
He's under consideration, right?
Well, we'll see if he can create anything here at the end before we.
I'd like to see him get 10, right? Why stop at 8?
Yeah.
All the way out to midfield, and the North scoops it up. And there's one. They need 4 more in a minute and 1 second. But with each goal, they establish a new Under Armour All-America lacrosse game record. 52 combined goals in this game. The old record was 35, so this has been quite an explosion of offense.
Tate Jazokis picks up the ground ball and just cruises in uncontested and finishes. Jazokis is headed to North Carolina, where again there's a lot of talented midfielders down there. You talk about Chad Tutton, Stephen Pontrello, Spencer Parks, Duncan Hutchins coming back from an injury, so.
They just made an announcement. If anybody hasn't scored here tonight, please stand up.
Yeah.
Under a minute. Looks like the South is on the way to their third straight win, and that would even up this series at 4 games apiece.
I think the South team's just going to hold the ball down here. They're going to ice it.
I'm not betting on that.
Hey, I tell you what, we haven't had any time or on calls. The invisible shot clock tonight.
.20 seconds left. North trying to battle here and get a goal. A lot of heavy legs out there about this time on a hot, humid night. Final seconds tick down, and we got a save to end it. How about that?
How appropriate.
A save to end the game as Matt Barrett got a stick on that one. But it's all over, and the North and South players congratulate each other. And really pretty entertaining game. Had a ton of offense, and
it sure was.
See the fans enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a nice crowd tonight, and they certainly were. They got to see a lot of offense, that's for sure.
Congratulations. It's been fun to be a part of this thing again, Lee.
Hey, thank you very much for you guys. You know, couldn't do it without our friends from ESPNU, our friends from Under Armour over there in the Big Tent, making it all happen for us.
One of the legend Corrigans down there as the South squad beats the North 28-24 the final score. ESPN News coverage of the 2013 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse game is brought to you by Under Armour. Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. And Golden Corral. It's Golden Corral's ultimate wing fest and baby back ribs. It's endless wings and baby backs for one low price. Well, there he is, Mark Dixon. Can't argue with Matt Rambo being the Under Armour MVP.
8 goals, and seemingly effortless, but in the right place at the right time, showing why he is the #1 recruit entering the freshman class of 2014, according to Inside Lacrosse. We saw him off ball, on ball, incredibly deft, off of the dodge. Just really, I think, a complete package headed down to College Park to play for Coach John.
And this was a 1-goal game with under 5 minutes left when Rambo scored 4 consecutive goals basically to end it.
That's what great players do. They come in, they make their mark, and now he's not only was he underclass MVP a year ago, now he is the senior All-America game MVP.
Pretty neat. Matt Rambo will play his college lacrosse just down the road in College Park, Maryland for the Terrapins. Dixie, pretty entertaining night unless you were between the pipes, right?
If you love defense, this game was not for you, but I think we've seen the trend in college lacrosse. People want more scoring, better pace of play. No better example than tonight. These 44 Under Armour All-Americans put on a great show for our audience.
Yes, indeed. Again, the final score from Johnny Unitas Stadium. The South over the North, 28-24. Coming up next, FIFA Under-20 World Cup Soccer, France versus Uzbekistan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Mark Dixon and Booker Corrigan, I'm Scott Garceau saying so long from Towson, Maryland.